How's it going, guys? This is David Blade Banter, working to bring you specifications you can relate to so you can have an educated decision on your purchases. But it's been almost, 5 years since I started this channel, so it's come a long way. A lot of different things that happened, but going to have more of a discussion type of thing today, more than just dropping specifications. So we'll go through some of the knives that I got in, some of the knives that are going on in the community, and then one that's come back. I didn't really do a full review on it, but it's been through everywhere. It's a great knife for the Factor, but we're going to look at that one down on the table here. So there's going to be now the one that I picked up. The Monument is one that is made in Italy. I picked it up just now for the designer, as far as kind of a historic designer that's been out there. Really cool. So the Damascus pivot, it's pretty. It's not one that I carry much, just for the fact that this pocket clip with the even though this is pretty, it is also a pocket biter, so it does actually go off quite bad on that. It's one that I'll probably keep around just for the fact that it is kind of a piece of history as far as that goes. Does have some cool things with it. Access here, not great. So more so, even with the designer, when I saw him showing it off, he basically unlocked it this way instead of doing it with the thumb. You can do it the other way, but it's not the best. So this one, so it just really is pretty rough in pocket. I have another one that's from a Wii knife, the Wii Bullet, years ago. I guess I was like one of their first years, or maybe kind of right at the beginning. So it is something that, again, you can unlock it here. It just, you gotta just dig your finger in there to do that. But really nice. If you do want to pick it up, it's still available. But it's just one of those things as far as just kind of having, just something that's just really historic, I guess, for that. But yeah, picked it up, purchased it. It wasn't sent in or anything like that, so don't really purchase too many things right now. But have a lot of things going on. Factor is something that I'm going to look at again. And then I also am changing price point on this, because market speaks for itself, and even though I feel that it's worth it for the price point for 14C, aluminum, stainless steel, deep carry clip and all that stuff, so I'm probably going to be dropping it to, we'll probably drop it under 50 bucks, because I need to get them going, because I have a few different projects coming up. So one thing about how I want to run things is I'm really just funding a lot of this stuff. So I'm taking project to project and then funding those things. So I guess think about having a new car that you can't drive, and that's what I'm putting into these projects, and then giving it over to you folks. No pre-orders or anything like that. Normally when it's available, I'll ship it. So I appreciate to anybody that picked it up, but we'll see how it does. Also, we're going to be dropping it down price point wise, kind of a Labor Day sale. See if we get a really big spike on it. So hopefully it's good. Hopefully you guys like it enough to get that done. But that's going to be for the Cetus. So downward tip on it. And I'm offering Tormek sharpening as well, if you want to have a Tormek edge on it. So this one is one that isn't going to be the sharpest out of the box. So if you like sharpening, then you can do that. Otherwise, you can add that in there. So that's going to be another option. Just playing around with that. Tormek has been so far very good. I picked up the 50th anniversary version for that knife, or not the knife, but for that sharpener. It's a 50-year warranty that you get with it. It does come with the diamond stone. I did get the more coarse stone as well, just to get that done a little bit quicker for any reprofiling. And then I also did pick up a digital angle gauge, because I feel that's a little bit easier way to go. But this one is going to be dropping down, so probably by the time you're watching this, prices will be adjusted, so you can make that purchase. Also doing free shipping over $99, so if you want to add 2 of these, one for yourself, one for a buddy, maybe throw in one of the cases, but a lot of different things going on. So next one is going to be Aries, then we're going to go to probably the cases. So I have a 4 and also a 48 capacity case, and then also do have the watch coming up. So this is going to be, so this is the watch project that I have going on. That's going to be the next one coming up. So that's going to be this guy here. So some people have seen it, but this is what I've been working on. This has been probably over a year in the works, but working on that project as well. So a lot of things available, a lot of things in the works, but got to like move one to do the other one. So hopefully we can do that. If not, then I'll just kind of be out there and I'll have one for myself or however it goes. But hopefully you guys enjoy the products. Hopefully I enjoy those things, and I try to take care of everybody as best I can as well. This one is going to be the Factor. Factor is one that I saw initially. I think it was the first run that I actually was able to handle it. The sound on it, I think, is the shining star of this knife, and it's still very good. And it's cut on a lot of different ones that are out there now. But Factor by Best Tech for the OEM, so still has, probably comes through, but we'll try and put up the mic where I hear that. So, there you go. But yeah, it's just the sound wise. This thing is now very nice as far as the sound goes. Is something that also has a deployment on the back side. It is an axis lock in general, so not called axis lock, but it's just a magnet spring. So instead of actually having springs, it's going to be magnetic driven. So that's going to be kind of a cool thing there, but still really nice. So I still might pick this one up at some point. Still have not. So now there's a lot of different things that he has going on the site, but we'll go over to, so I started my campaign with Kickstarter. So one thing that Michael and Melody has done is do Kickstarter as well. So they have their campaign. Surprisingly, it's just crazy success for this, so great job to them. So we're going to be pretty high as far as they already met their goal and doubled it already. So that's going to be where they were. So still have 20 more days on it. So pick it up. This is going to be the truffles. So I did also join in this campaign. It does have a different lock mechanism as far as disengagement wise. So that's going to be something that is pretty cool. So that's going to be all different ways to do that. And then you can actually see kind of it blown apart as far as how that looks. This is going to be the next knife up for myself as well. We found this OEM back in SHOT Show. So that's going to be, now I'm working on that project as well. So mine's going to be, I'm calling it a wedge lock, but then his is the roundhouse lock. But it's going to have the same type of disengagement here, and then mine's just going to be just a different locking mechanism for it. But I'll show that one in the future as well. But if you want to pick this up, it's going to be available, going to be going up in price a little bit after the campaign, but yeah, already doubled the amount, already 618 backers, so that's a fantastic amount. So congratulations, and very much successful on that. And then also have for Winter Blade Co. So there's all the different ones that he has. And they're all, I mean, it changed as far as the look of it goes. You do have that little spacer in the back, because some people don't like that deployment method. They feel it kind of gets in the way. It's just another way to open it. Just a lot of different things here. Different blades. He also has an OTF that he's working on. So mad scientist in a good way of knives and magnets. So it's very good to see that continue to go on as well for what he's doing for his brand. And then going back to the Monument that we talked about initially, $275 for that guy. M390 also made in Italy. So two different models or availabilities. So you have that one and that one. Even this one has a Damascus blade. I felt that this one popped better, and that's why I picked it up. So that's the one I have. The actual sharpen edge, it's pretty thick. I mean, it's going to be, it's like, it was like 25 degrees roughly per side, so that's like 50 degrees inclusive. So that's a little bit on the high side. For myself, I normally go about 20 degrees, and with that Tormek, it's been working out nice. I mean, there's sometimes when you have a sharp edge and you have kind of like a scary sharp edge. So that one's actually been a kind of a cool thing to do. And then it's actually water cooled, very low speed. So hopefully it's something that I can use for a long time, and hopefully that stone or the diamond will last a long time as well, because they're pretty expensive. So I mean, the whole unit with the clamps and everything else was a little bit over $1,000, plus another $400 for the core stone. So yeah, it's a kind of pricey. And I'll show later as far as kind of I feel as far as some of the things that are needed for it. I don't know if they're ever going to do it, but if not, then maybe I'll do it, because I think it's things that the machine should have on it, for especially for that drip tray over the machine itself. There's a 3D printed model that you can get. I did do that as well. I had somebody print it for me. Big difference. Like, I was like, yeah, you're losing a lot of water without it, so it's not that great for that. But factor, other deployment method again, that's how that goes. For me, again, going back, I'm going to be bouncing around a little bit, but this is going to be kind of what this looks like here. So kind of a smaller knife. So you're going to have probably that choil area. So they're going to be for a men's size hand. So you're going to be able to fit it pretty well, especially with that front choil on it, to be able to get that in your hand. Women's hand, of course, it's going to be a little bit smaller. Women's kids, in general, you're going to have that going to be a little bit smaller. So I'll sit that in there. Not necessarily that you should have it for a kid, but this is how that chart goes, women's and kids. So you're going to have no problem with that as far as feeding that in there. And then Monument side, just because we talked about it, this is going to be a little bit different. You might have probably perfect for most sizes. For the women's side, men's side, you're going to probably be a little bit on the small side of things for the men's. So if you put that just up to that flipper tab, kind of extra small, you're kind of almost at the back of it. So for me, it's going to be a large size hand, so I still can fit the fingers on there, but as far as the actual palm, I mean, you're already kind of over that section there. It was still comfortable, still works well for it, but it's not going to be probably for something for folks with like the large, extra large hands, extra large. I guess large is all right. Who knows? That's going to be how it looks. That's going to be how it feels. It's fine. It's not perfect, but again, history-wise, it's the way to go. So that's one thing to support on that. And if you guys didn't remember the history on where things started out, so this is my original Kickstarter. So we had the Solaris, Scorpio, and then went to Cetus. So that's kind of the size-wise on that, and then definitely more of a swoop on it. So downward tip, you can kind of see where everything is, even with this point. So basically having that to be your forward grip. And then this one's a little bit, this was a prototype because it doesn't have that little groove here. So I have that groove on the actual production version of it, but it's definitely something that's available. And then I still have some of these available, still have some of those available, and then we're going to be dropping the price on this. So kind of where I guess I felt that it was a good value, or very good value for it. 14C28 for blade steel over something like D2, and then wood handle. I found that to be a little bit on the softer side, but I've been carrying this one. As long as you're not putting in your keys or you're not dropping it, then it really should hold up pretty well as far as what you're going to do for it. But I've been using some tung oil to kind of do a coating on that, and then also doing some sharpening on some of them, especially if somebody wants to do that, so you can have it really sharp, nice finish, and then that's going to be, again, the aluminum and also the steel. So now that's going to be aluminum on this side, steel on this side, and then we're going to have one pocket clip. Here's another pocket clip for it on this side. So that does come in the box, at least for this run, because this pocket is a little bit too wide. So if you did want to swap it over to the other side with this clip, you're going to get some clip rock. And then that's why I was holding on to these for 2 months, just trying to get that situated. I went with dab gear. One of the reasons I went with dab gear is because this hollow grind is something that at the time QSP didn't have very many of them. So that's where I went with a different company to just try them out, see how they did. Dab gear, people haven't heard about them before too much. In-house brand is going to be with Armor. They also have contracts with Buck as well as Boker. So they are working with some bigger companies for that, but that's what I went with. And also, if you don't like this backspacer, because it does have the name in there for Orion knives, you can take that out. They also have gold standoffs, so you can pop that out if you don't want to have that in there. But because on these also, so I did get some comments as far as even the liners, as far as it not being a full liner, or not full liner, but a full cover. So the reason why I went with that is most times with frame locks, you can basically, if you do grab this section, put your finger on it, sometimes that hinders the deployment method for it. And also in grabbing it, you actually are kind of initiating that lock more. So instead of a liner lock where it doesn't really do that, it kind of does like a frame lock for this one, and then does have that jimping on the top side. And I think it works well for it. Some of them came out with a little bit lower detent, but if you like a lower one, just send an email and ask for that as well. And flipper tab on it. So it is a very small flipper tab because I don't really want to have a big one. So mostly you can do the reverse flick, regular thumb, and you can use the full folder on it. So basically this is your kind of an adjustable detent. So if you want to come up here, you can, but otherwise just move further down to get to where you really want it, because you're going to have that leverage that's going to be different from here to here. So if you really want a light detent, we'll move further up when you deploy more of a stiff detent, then move back. So if you want to, so you can fail it. So that's one thing that I think a lot of people test as far as, well, will it fail if you just open it? Yeah, it's going to. So it's not going to be that really that big old snap that you're getting from it. But if you want to open it. And this is going to be vertical, so I'm still opening it. And then if you don't like the flipper tab, it's very small. So even when I deploy it, so I got my finger right next to it, and it still opens. So that's kind of hard with it, because this is probably the biggest run. So this is the biggest run that I've done for the Orion side. So that's where just something that I really put out there to try and get it going as far as the model. So I ordered 1,200 of these for the model, and again, that's out of pocket as far as a purchase. So that's not something that I did a pre-order for, and that's where I kind of just really gambling on those things to get those out there. So if you guys have any input on where you want to see the line go, or anything else coming up, because again, we do have after this one, we have some other products coming out, and then we have the Aries, and we have also the Ursa Minor, and then we have a slip joint that I'm working on, and then yeah, it's just a matter of kind of where things go. But rambling on a little bit, but I appreciate anybody that's sticking by and actually hanging out for a little bit. But like the Monument for history, like the Factor for just cool, it works really well. Don't own one. Again, we'll see if I do pick one up later on. For the Factor, get your Cetus. Again, it's going to drop the price probably for that Labor Day sale, and then we'll see how that goes. But otherwise, if you guys have any questions, let me know. But thanks for stopping by, and that's about all I have to say about that one today.